Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Superprime UK with your Superprime UK valuation specialist, myself, Rob Cohen.
And myself, James Wild.
Welcome back everyone. It's been a great week, super exciting for me. I've been doing the university lectures, I've been traveling around Europe, the sun is out in the UK, there's a bit of a spring feel-good factor, and we've got loads of property data, intel and market updates for you with our good friend James, who's going to kick off the show.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. So it's been another positive week in terms of the residential market here in London. In terms of the number of sold transactions this week, quite a big shift actually. 160 sold this week, up from 139 the previous week, Rob. And as we've been speaking about in the last few weeks, agents having such limited stock on their books for all the buyers out there. Well, 371 new instructions this week. That's the highest for a couple of months. So positive news there, up from 332 last week. So hopefully that continues to sort of at least maintain that sort of level, allowing the market to operate and to try and dampen those sort of sharp price increases, which are largely drawn in some markets out of the lack of supply we've seen.
Yeah, and also I can see in our data this week that there's been a big increase in properties going under offer, which further supports the activity that's taken place in the market and the fact that everything that's coming on pretty much straight away is going under offer.
That's it, thanks Rob. So the big news in the last week, again, interest rates, as we predicted last week, Rob, interest rates rose there, and it's probably the first of, not the first, but it's come in the start of the sort of second quarter of 2022, and we're likely to see another couple of rises this year, Rob. But as we mentioned last week, possibly the start of Q3 and Q4, trying to maybe avoid an interest rate rise just before Christmas, as we saw last year, which would take us up to about 1.25% on the base rate towards the end of the year. So we'll have to wait and see there and monitor that closely.
I think it's very clear that with the situation with inflation, that the government and financial policymakers want to control the inflation as much as they can. The mechanism they're using is the interest rates. Will it be enough? It will have to be seen. How much further will they have to go? That's what we're going to find out this year. And ultimately, how is it affecting the mortgage market and affordability and payments? We're going to have to play a really close eye on that one.
Yeah, Rob, it's definitely the enhanced inflation running about 6.2% currently that's really triggering these almost knee-jerk sort of interest rate hikes, which started in December last year, 2021, and now standing at 0.75% on the base rate. The government is making sort of further efforts to try and dampen that inflation, such as we've seen the fuel duty reduced this week, Rob, by 5p a litre. So hopefully that's going to be passed on to consumers this week, and we'll be able to sort of benefit from that. It's not only harming individuals, but in terms of businesses and logistics, it's going to be harming those industries as well. They're going to really, really feel that.
Yeah, I think that's also one to watch. The fuel prices have elevated to a high, unprecedented, and that's really hitting the consumer, and ultimately it's the consumer that gets hurt in these situations, and we have to see if the government policy is going to help.
That's it, thanks Rob. Okay, I mean, just in terms of high street news this week, Rob, we've obviously got the Commercial Rent Act coronavirus bill. That's currently making its way through Parliament. It's set to be passed later today, actually, 25th of March. The bill introduces the new concept of protected rent debt, which, if an agreement cannot be reached between the landlord and the tenant, it can be resolved by a newly set up arbitration scheme. So obviously, if that gets passed later today, that will lift the restrictions on landlords there in terms of taking action against the the tenants there if there's been any unpaid rent. From the 1st of April 2022, so in a week or so's time, they'll be once again able to issue statutory demands or winding up orders in the worst case against tenants in relation to themselves. So commercial and high street market there, Rob, we have to keep an eye on that in the news. There's obviously going to be a number of cases, I think, brought forward in the coming months. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that, see what happens. I know a number of big franchises could be affected by that, not only small businesses. Just in terms of some other high street news, Rob, Lloyds Banking Group this week have announced they're closing another 60 branches. That's made up of 24 Lloyds branches, 19 Bank of Scotland and 17 Halifax branches there. And they're not the only ones trying to reduce their sort of operating costs through the sort of physical branches. It's a number of banks trying to do that and building societies there. So it's an interesting one, the high street, how that's going to mould, who's going to move into that space in terms of the towns, the more isolated branches, which have been convenient in the past but are quite uneconomic for all the banks. What's going to happen to that? Some of those on the outskirts, out of town locations could be converted into other uses or even residential. Those town centre ones might have a more of a slightly different evolution in terms of the tenants which might take those over.
Yeah, I think we're seeing convenience stores is what is happening, and the high street, whether it's your Amazon Freshes, whether it's your Co-ops, whether it's your Tesco Expresses, whether it's your Sainsbury's Locals, that is where the market is heading, and they are taking up the units, and that's what we're going to see will be the trend in 2022 moving forward, and those banks unfortunately will keep closing, and let's hope those units get taken up as quickly as possible. Great update with this week. Just want to say a big thanks to all the clients that I've met over the last week. It's just brilliant being out again on the road, meeting you all. It's been a tough few years for everyone, and there is just nothing better than human relationships, personal relationships, meeting your team members and your colleagues. We've got our Christmas party this week, which is so overdue and delayed, and I just can't wait to be with everyone again, and let's just hope that normal life returns and great moments of engaging with colleagues and loved ones is what the remainder of 2022 gives us, and it's something I'm so looking forward to. So super excited. Thanks to everyone that's been accommodating me and for all those meetings, and for everyone else, can't wait to see you all. That's the exciting part of what we do and our journey and work, and can't wait to see you all soon. So have a great week, keep those meetings coming or going, keep building those relationships, and thanks for all your support on all of the socials and all the platforms, and thanks for all your updates, James.
Thanks very much, Rob. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.